Hey, hey, hey. I always get caught up when I listen to this track. I like to go on the journey. How's everybody? First stream after my little break with the family. Still in an electro frame of mind. We'll get back to the techno at some point. I gotta admit, I've been feeling pretty chill about the stream this summer. I've been pretty low key. I think I mentioned that. Not doing it every week. Got other stuff going on. Maybe like thinking ahead to the autumn, getting back into the regular grinds. Kids are back in school. Maybe we'll get back onto a more regular schedule. But for right now, I hope you're okay with just occasionally, sporadically doing our techno and electro Saturdays. Who was first in the chat today? Looks like Camel P, aka The Influence. Hello, hello. We got Muo here. Hola. Stereo Decor is here. Farning. Joaquin Lobo. Having a nice weekend for sure. Jaja 9000 and Oxygen Levels Critical. What up? Stefan Pete, good evening. Yeah. Not quite time for back to school yet, but getting close now that it's August here in New York. All right. Well, I guess let's bring it in. On this low-key, what are we going to do today, Electro Saturday? What's up, everybody? Nice to be back here at 343 Labs for my now occasional Techno and Electro Saturdays. And yeah, as I was just saying in that intro there, saying hello to you guys, that it's been sort of sporadic in the last few months. But we did get stuff done, like the release of the Auto Freak remix winners, as a highlight. And I got questions from some of you about what were we going to do, if anything, with the other mixes, because there were some other really good mixes which I liked, and just maybe weren't exactly what fit for Tronic, for Christian. Christian and I had to sort of agree on the ones that worked for his label. But there's other ones that I like. And, there's the Angel Alanis and Maria Gertz amazing remix, or I think they did two, that should see the light of day. So my thought is, what we'll do eventually, maybe not right away, because, we want to let the Tronic release do its thing. But, my idea was to take the Angel and Maria remix and then combine that with a couple of the other nice remixes that I liked that didn't for Tronic, and then, do a follow-up. Why not? The world is our oyster. It costs nothing to do digital releases. I was thinking I would, kind of focus on Bandcamp, but of course I can also have it distributed more widely. So we'll see how that goes. Just so you know, there's still hope. And anyway, that's on my mind. Due diligence, as I always must do. 343 Labs Music Production School here in New York and in Berlin is, where I work as a head of academics. It's my title. I also kind of do operations here in New York and make sure things are running smoothly and everybody's having a good experience. I do the live streaming tech. We have events regularly here, public, free, mostly events in the space in New York, but also they are often broadcast here on YouTube as well. For example, Great Dane's Chop Shop, which is a popular one, kind of a regular monthly remix challenge. So yeah, as always, keep an eye out for those things. Check out our website. Click on those links below and see what we've got coming up in terms for our courses and our one-year program. We've had a really great, very busy summer so far, actually, with we've had middle school and high school summer camps, which have been, I think there's this past week, there were like 12 or 13 high school students, like just killing it in there. They're learning how to produce. They're learning how to DJ. They're having a lot of fun. And then we have our adult programs. We have intensives. We have the short summer version of our one-year program, which is like a real deep crash course in everything. We've got student performances coming up. Our one-year program, they're going to be graduating. We have like a cohort graduating in September. They're going to be doing their first live performances at a venue here in New York. So there's a lot going on. And if you want to find out more, maybe join in, sign up for something, one of our online classes, even if you're not here in New York or in Berlin, you know what to do. Links below. And also I'll remind you to join the Discord, because I'm going to be announcing another feedback session soon. Just as always, nailing down a good guest. I could, maybe I'll bring back an old friend, but I'm always looking for new people. And everyone I want to have be on the show, there's always some like the time zone is crazy, or they're touring and they're having gigs. Like my show's on Saturday, so you can imagine if like someone's a touring techno or electro artist or producer or performer, that like Saturdays are a tricky day for people. So I'm doing what I can. I'll keep trying. I'll have someone on. All right. How are y'all doing? Before we get into what I'm going to do with the music today, let's talk a little bit about what you've got going on. Jaja 9000. I have some hot tracks myself, which are nicely polished and finished, but still have to begin uploading it on the internet at all. Yeah. Right? It's you'd think it. Why do we get stuck like that? I make tracks, and all right, I have tons of started tracks. Ever since I kind of got into teaching and less into the sort of hustle of releasing and touring as a DJ and producer. I don't have as much of a need to like crank things out and release things. I've just been kind of focused on other elements of my life, but I still want to put the music out. What's the holdup? What stops you? That's an interesting conversation to have. Like, you make music and then what do you do with it? What's the holdup? Why not just crank it out? I feel that sometimes I get kind of caught up in like, I have a little bit of a perfectionist streak where like, I don't want to put it out until I'm absolutely sure that it's what I want. And sometimes that holds you back. Sometimes you just got to say, okay, I'm done, put it out, move on, right? Just produce, right? We don't have to keep polishing and polishing and polishing. So anyway, what are your thoughts on that? Any of you have a similar issue where you're finishing tracks, but then you're not sure what to do with them, or you're, maybe, what's the best way to put them out there? I mean, there's millions of, things on social media and YouTube about how to get out there, how to release your music, how to get distribution, all of that stuff. So many choices, so many different ways to think about it. I don't know. I feel like having a free account on Bandcamp is like the no-brainer. Like, just put it on Bandcamp at least, and then tell your friends, right? At least, just to do it. You don't have to have some big grand plan like you're going to be a superstar or something. Anyway, or somewhere in between. Deckmantle and Nature One are streaming today. That's what Farning is talking about. Well, we're going to have to check that out. I bet there's going to be some really good music to hang out and listen to. Maybe let's just do that. I'm just going to, maybe we'll stream Deckmantle on, no, I can't do that. That's copyright infringement, but wouldn't that be fun? And let's see. Marco Freudenberg's here, but hey, come on over to the other channel, Marco. It's confusing, right? I'm streaming here on 343 Labs, and I'm streaming also on my personal channel. I do that just to archive it. But hey, Marco, switch over to the 343 Labs channel and join the chat here. Everybody, if you're watching on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, come over to 343 Labs. Stefan is saying, I usually use SoundCloud first. Where do I put your music? I have mixed feelings now about that. It used to be, right? SoundCloud was like music discovery. Like, people made careers off of blowing up on SoundCloud. And I don't know if it's the same anymore. I think it's been kind of overtaken by other social media, TikTok, etc., right? Like, that's how people, but then that's really for commercial music. So more, isn't it? Like, or at least like more generally, pop music and others like singer-songwriters and whatever. And of course there's like meme techno that blows up on TikTok that becomes huge and everybody gets annoyed by after a while. At least I do. It's funny for a second. But yeah, I don't know. SoundCloud, I don't know if it has the same impact that it did, but it is a good, easy place to share your music. I'll give you that. It's not a good, easy place to sell your music, though, especially, if you're worried about trying to make any kind of a decent amount of money. The ratio of like how tiny the royalty is for streaming versus the amount of effort and time and possibly money that you've put into making it. Bandcamp is direct. They just take they take a cut of the sales for just hosting your music on their website. It's a glorified shopping cart for music and merchandise, for music merchandise. You know what I mean? So no one's taking royalties. No, there's no publishing. There's no tracking of ISRC codes, etc. It's just your fan buys it, you get most of the money. It's a much better prospect, right? Even if like 100 people, spend $2 each on a track, that's going to be way more than you get if you get streamed 100 times on Spotify, you get nothing. So yeah, Bandcamp. There's other alternatives too. I can't remember what it is now. There's some other smaller music companies doing kind of artist to fan kind of. Okay, I don't mean Patreon, but there's some stuff that's more like Bandcamp. It'll come to me. I think you guys know who Scuba is, right? He has his Music Not Diving podcast, and he's connected to a company that does like it's like labels and artists direct to fans, and it's more electronic oriented as far as I know. That one looks cool too. Similar to Bandcamp, but more geared to electronic music, I guess. Yeah. Jaja 9000 talking about buying music at Bandcamp. One thing is, as far as like finding music that you like on Bandcamp is a little harder for DJ style kind of buying anyway. Like something, stuff like Beatport and everything is so organized and categorized and charts and etc. I think Bandcamp's a little more kind of, you see things sort of that people, it's more, actually, you could work the social media aspect of Bandcamp. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling now, just thinking about things based on what you guys have said in the chat so far. And yeah, maybe we'll just, I don't want to go on too much longer about it, but as far as sort of the more releasing / business / practical side of getting music out there, maybe we should have a show about that. Like what's sort of like for underground electronic, techno, electro, etc. artists, especially maybe if you're not doing like more mainstream kind of sounding stuff, like what's the best avenue, right? Putting it out yourself, shopping into labels, and how do you reach people in the world that you're in? Like you're not necessarily caring about blowing up on TikTok or being a huge EDM star, right? Maybe you just want to be part of a scene and reach that scene. Like, how do we do that? So, idea for a show this year. Let's say it is time for making some music. Now that my brain is in a totally different place, it's an electro day, and I made life hard for myself by having a completely blank slate. I have not prepared anything. We're gonna do this totally from scratch. And let's see, a couple of things, although I do have a little bit of a starting point, a little bit of an idea of how to get going, right? So have you guys seen this one yet? The update of Massive, there's Massive X, and there's like a free player version of it where you can't edit anything, but I've got, the full thing here. And they added this like morphing preset browser to make it easy for people to play with the sounds and not be intimidated by, oh my God, this interface is so, I know roughly, generally, almost everything going on in this synth, and I don't like it. It's just so, you're looking at just too much, right? I mean, is it more complex than something like Pigments, which I'm comfortable with? No. I mean, maybe a little, actually. If you go into the routing, the fact that you can completely reconfigure the structure, the signal flow of this, not fully modular, but almost modular, right? There's so much you can completely like change. I mean, it's powerful. This is a very powerful synth. And I used to use the original version of Massive all the time. For years, I made tracks using Massive. A lot of people did, right? And it's still good, the old one. But Massive X, I never really tried. I'll be honest, I didn't even really try that hard to click with it. I didn't really get to know it very well. Just right away, it was just, okay, that's just a bit too much. And I didn't, and then, I got into all the Arturia stuff and, what I use most of the time here. So I was like, all right, if anything, it's just, the news about this update of Massive was just a good reminder to like say, hey, maybe, oh, what was that? That's not Clank. That was a different plugin. Let's see if it's still, let's see if we like it. Let's make some music with it. Got some little pretty pad there. And, I'm wondering, is this just like a gimmick, this whole morphing thing? Does it actually help? Or do we really need it? What do we like about it? What do we don't like about it? All right, so that's what I thought, is I'm just going to make music. I'm going to start making a beat or an idea for a track, mainly just using the Massive X update, and we'll just play, right? But make something electro, and then let's see. I mean, I've been talking forever now. I've already used up like 20 minutes of the show, but maybe we'll go a little longer than an hour today because of that. But I want you guys to give me some suggestions. Let's do a little interactive. Let's just play a little bit and like what kind of, you give me an idea and I won't promise to do it exactly like you're thinking, but maybe we'll do a little back and forth here with some ideas, like general stuff like BPM, energy level, mood, a particular sound. And yeah. Someone, almost forgot in the chat, someone was talking about, and I love this, the 101, playing with an SH-101 and a space echo. Oxygen levels critical. Yeah, this is good. I agree with the sentiment, actually. If I can just find the comment here again. I'm completely missing it now. Oh, there it is. You're using, he's chilling with the Behringer 101 and a space echo. Peak of technology, in my opinion. Well, I mean, I think the 101, the real deal 101 and the Behringer included, or any clones of it, are definitely like near the top of my list of favorite synthesizers, if not the favorite. I don't know why. There's just something about it, especially for electro. It's so integral, as much as like the 303 is integral to acid, right? The 101 is also in techno, and I just feel like the 101 is so good for electro as well. Cool. So anyway, as soon as I saw that mentioned, here, let's switch over to our main scene. I went ahead and I added a track, not this Visco. Get out of here, Visco. I threw that in there because I keep promising to use it again and then I forget. But yeah, so here's my the Rolling Cloud 101 and a space echo. So I just threw that in there because of this comment, and maybe we'll do something with it. But yes, this is a brilliant combination. Agreed. Yeah. All right. And then that's the other one is, let's see if I happen to remember to use Visco again. it's another like cool new plugin that came out however long ago. And then they had the update recently, which makes it not just for drums. It also has a synth tonal kind of part. And I like the idea of it. So we'll see. I'll probably skip it again because I'm talking so much and it'll be so less time for music. But all right. So let me look at this chat again. Does anyone have a BPM for me? Give me a BPM, like a good electro BPM today. Let's do it. Jean-Paul Bondy, welcome. You're not late. I'm only just now starting to make music. All I have been doing is talking. You didn't miss a thing. Okay. All right. Going once. Going twice. Someone give me a BPM. All right. 127. We've got 127. Is that a sufficient beats per minute for electro nowadays? Data Rebel says 134. Let's go in between. Let's just go up to 130, right? Sort of roughly between, or 131. Like Tall Tree says 135. We got a 137. I don't know. BPMs tend to be a little higher lately sometimes. I don't know. Jean-Paul Bondy says 138. He's got an actual space echo that he's had for 30 years. I'm jealous. I had friends that owned them and I used theirs, but I never actually got to buy my own. And thankfully, I'm happy. Plugins are good enough for me most of the time. All right, so 138 to 127. It's a 10 BPM difference, almost 9 BPM. Let's do 133. 133.33. That way, if I ever cut vinyl of this, I can make a lock groove on a loop on the vinyl out of it. And all right, are we starting with a melodic element? Or are we starting with drums? Which way should we go? And for the most, I'm going to try to stick to. I'm not going to use any sample. That's another limitation that I gave myself. Is I'm not going to use any samples, right? So if you say kick drum, I'm loading up a kick drum preset in Massive. I'm not going to take the time to sound design now. I just want to find sounds and make music. So. Someone say where we're going to start. This is going to take too long. I'm just going to have to start moving. Hey, Ement, hello. Like Tall Trees, also hello. Sandor Stickelman, hello. You know what? I should have set YouTube for this to be the lowest latency. Jean-Paul Bondi never uses odd numbered beats per minute. I mean, if that's your thing, I don't think it matters that much. All right, oxygen levels critical says drums, and I think let's do that. All right, so let's just get something going on in here. Okay. The first thing I noticed in this new morphing browser that they've got is that you can't browse by type of sound. That you have to go to here, right? So I would love it if I was just here on this play to like, I mean, can I search kick? Okay, at least you can search tags. That's good. All right. All right. So, all right. That I feel better now that I even though I can't browse by type, I can type in a type of sound and I will find it. Actually, let's do snare first. Too thin, although we could play around with it, right? I'm going to do this one, which sounds sort of 808 world, right? How does it sound when we morph it? Well, actually, let's put in a clip here. Backbeat. Good. Turning your snare into a synth stab, it could be cool. Actually, we're getting into, it sounds like a 808. That's great. 808 cowbell a little bit, right? It's got that fifth. All right, I'm down with this patch. I like it. And I like that you can randomize the values at a particular corner. Let's randomize this one. Okay. Let's randomize this one. Only so many variations. All right, I'm down with that. Let's do a kick drum. That's just a start. I mean, I'll get into some drum rhythm variation eventually, right? Also, this is going to be nice to see how many massive X instances can we handle on my computer. All right, so we might as well do a kick now. Oy. Massive X. Type in kick. Alrighty. All right, that is not what we want. All right, it's pitched. That sounds more like a... kind of a more trappy kind of 808 sound. So probably not. I want something tight and sharp. Too many kicks. Okay, fine. Let's try some different kick presets. Ooh, you can get dirty. More like a filtered, distorted 909 kick there. More clean, punchy. There's a lot of good kicks in here, actually. I like this tight one. Let's see what happens if we morph it. More distorted. I could have some fun with this. Like, I've thought about that, like making a track where all of the sounds can morph and evolve at certain, and of course you don't want it to always do that, right? But, you know, that's definitely a benefit of using synthesizers for your percussion and things like that is you can do so much more with the sound and have it evolve and change and breathe, and I don't know. What happens if we use this animator? That's going to be weird. There's some cool ideas already. That's just something simple like that, but maybe synced to a beat. Slower. Let's try some other patterns. Oh, it goes forward and backwards. Can we edit these? I don't think you can edit these. That I believe would be cool if you could actually create different shapes. I mean, I think this is fun. Let's try faster. Also good. I'm just going to leave that. I like it. Maybe I'll go back to it. Let's hear what these faster ones do. Another forward and backwards one. We got this infinity. Definitely a lot of potential in this kind of thing. Can't even hear what that's doing. Let's go slower. Let's mess this up by randomizing. It's getting weird. All right, I don't like it anymore. So randomizing is dangerous, especially on very precise sounds like kick drums. Let's load that preset up again. I think this is the one that I kind of liked. Yeah. It's got a little groove in there. It's still a kick drum at the beginning, and then it turns into something else later in the bar. There's even like a weird noise in there that sounds like a underneath the snare. Speaking of snare, let's go back to the snare and make it evolve. Let's animate it. Not sure. Kind of cool. That's kind of cool because it's alternating between something that sounds more like a snare and something less like a snare every bar. Okay. Hi-hats? Is that what we're doing next? Let's see, what have you guys been talking about? All right. Start with kick and zap. Yes. Cool. Massive for drums. Automate the XY pad. Yes, you can. Jean-Paul Bondi is saying yes. I agree. I tried that earlier when I first loaded this up. Can you change the effects? Is it a chain? And then Jean-Paul Bondi is, and that was Jaja, and then Jean-Paul is suggesting low frequency kick here and there. Yeah, I think more, because now I've turned the kick and made it less like a kick sometimes, so now we have space for other kicks. I think that's good. Jaja thinks the snare should be steady, not moving. All right. Yeah, fair. Like, maybe it makes sense to have like some sounds not moving and some sounds, not everything needs to move all the time, right? So we don't have to use the animator, right? We could automate this. We could have it. All right. I'm going to, since you said so, let's go to the edit view. Oh, am I on the wrong? See, that's dangerous. I'm on, when I, I turned the, I was on the wrong thing. I want to turn this back on. And make sure I'm on the snare, not the kick drum. All right, let's turn the animator off. Did it again. Okay, now I'm doing it. Like if I want this to be a little shorter. Someone was asking about where are the effects, and that's something. It's been a while. I don't even remember. I guess they're over here on the right side. Right, it is a chain. So we can play around with that there. I don't want to mess it up too much. Let's do another kick, but a low, deep kick, like Jean-Paul was suggesting. Oof. Oh no. I mean, I like that. There. Something like that, or that's too tonal. That's too hardcore. That might do better. Let's see if that works. What note is that? What frequency are we at? Too low. We want that to go down. Not too much below that. Well, that's a C. How syncopated and busy can we get it? What happens if we morph this? Aggressive. I'm not sure I like that. I don't mind it. It's getting more like sci-fi evil aliens now, you know what I mean? I'm not against that. But if now it makes me want to make the other sounds more aggressive. Sounds far away, right? Maybe it just needs like processing. Maybe it needs to be not as wet. It's got a lot of space on it. sure about that. A little less of that delay. There's a cool flanger thing going on there. Oh, it's not even in the mix. Never mind. The flanging effect I'm hearing is some kind of coma filtering or modulation going on over here in the wavetable, probably. Yeah, we don't want too much reverb on that. Okay. What happens then if we do this? Ooh, I kind of like it out of sync and just twirling like that. Can we reverse it? Well, no, let's try. What happens when we re-trigger it? Right, so the notes re-triggering where that starts. Looks cool. I'm not sure about it. There's potential. All right, there's potential here. Kind of cool. Can you automate this and use the animator at the same time? I'm not sure. It looks like it takes it over, right? What does this look like with the automation? Like if I, oh, whoa. So I made lives X and Y assigned to the X and Y parameters in Massive. And yeah, that's cool. So that means you could record, I think you could record this. Is that, let me see. Will that actually record the movement in the arrangement view? Yeah, look at that. That's cool. So it's like a MIDI controller. I don't think I've seen a plugin do that before. Maybe I'm missing something. Did I just not think of it? Have you guys seen a plugin that will like control? It's like sending MIDI control to, or I don't know. It's sending out automation. That's crazy. I love it. Whoa. What is happening? So it recorded it, but now it's taking it over. So I would have to, like, in order for that to do something, I'd have to turn those off and then turn this off and then see if the automation works. Yeah. So yeah, it's possible. That's fun. Okay. I also think I'm getting already confused about what's moving what right now. All right. Also, let's go back. I'm not ready for arrangement view yet. That's confusing. What next? What are you guys talking about? Rim shot instead of hats. From oxygen levels critical. I mean, we can throw a rim shot in there. There's something about the modulating kick sounds a little bit like some sort of percussion element, like clicky percussion element too. So that is reminiscent of a rim shot somehow. John Paul's saying it's getting a bit IBM Jekyll and Hyde. Yes, I agree. I like that stuff too. And Stutter Edit does that. That's awesome. Stutter Edit. Okay. So that's just a place I've never really just thought about doing that. It's so funny. Let's see. Hi-hats and rim shot. I want both. Let's see what kind of hi-hats we can get out of Massive X. And then what happens when we morph them? Because, you know, why not morph hi-hats too? Massive. Right, hat. Birdie hat. That's silly. That is a silly preset, Native Instruments. Like, who's going to use that? All right, we got some. That's more of like a useful synth hat. And of course, because it's massive, it has all these complex, like sequenced performer sounds. I mean, I could use that and then change the pattern to something that I like. Open, close, I'm guessing. It's going to be long. Yeah, that's an old trick where you have a fast decay and a long release, and when you play a short note, you have a long release, and when you hold the note down, you have a short decay. Like, so you do open, close, hi-hat. That's cool too. Actually, this says rock hat, but I like how it sounds like there's a note. Like, it almost sounds like a vocal formant in that hi-hat. Let's play with that. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and... Yeah, that's interesting. It's like giving harmony already. I don't like the rhythm. But there's something kind of cool about it. Let's hear how that sounds on different pitches. Up there, it sounds more thin and hi-hat-like. What happened? My sound disappeared on me. All right, we're gonna have to reload that. Is that a bug or just me doing something funny? Okay. You know what I think probably happened? I think there's a thing with the performers where you can control whether they play or not using a MIDI note. Yeah, you have. So if I think what I did is I stopped it. But down here you can use MIDI notes to switch between the variations. Anyway, I could go in there and make my own patterns. Let's do the... How do I get in here on these curves? There we go. I'm sure there's a way to zoom in and out of this, but... I'm spending too long on this. Oops. Okay. I think that's what I'm going for. You can do a little open hi-hat thing like that. Have you guys ever made your hi-hats like this? Like just use like sequenced modulation to do rhythmic patterns like that? All right, I'm playing around with this performer too much. What else? Let's go back and... I don't love it. After all that, let's morph it. That's better. Sounds less like a simulated acoustic hat and more like a cool noise. More weird. I like weird. I wouldn't mind this just kind of floating around here somewhere. Okay. Let's hear how that sounds with the bass again, with the big 808 distorted thing. It's almost like too groovy, you know, like that big, like, heavy industrial distorted thing. It needs, like, the beat needs to be more robotic and tight and machine-like rather than, like, it sounds kind of more loose and funky with those hi-hats. It could also be I mean, it's a combination of things. Maybe the kick drums should be more militant and tight. Or maybe I need a snare that's not as, you know, round and resonant and... I don't know. Yeah, I'm having second thoughts about what the kick drum's doing now. Maybe too busy. A little bit better now, slightly. All right, I got lost. What are you guys doing? What kind of moves should we make next? A 30-second note somewhere in the hi-hats? Yeah, I could play around with that. You can pitch the sound up instead of drawing a MIDI note. Which sound are you talking about, Jean-Paul? Hey, Josh Holiday, welcome. I started late. It's cool. You haven't missed all that much. I mean, I've been on almost an hour, and I've hardly done anything. Let's think about. Let's not get too stuck on the beats. I can always go back and improve those later. What do we need now? Do we need some melodic elements? Do we need weird noises? And mind you, we're mainly sticking to just playing around with Massive X, and I'm just loading up presets and tweaking and using this morphing thing just to get things going, just to explore what it may or may not be good for. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and load up another Massive here, and I don't know. What if we do some kind of synth or sound effect? Some kind of lead, maybe. Some kind of weird organ. No, I don't want an organ. Some kind of weird soundscape. Something dark and funky is what Josh Holiday is saying. I mean, dark and funky always kind of is a good thing for Electro. Cameo P wants a laser zap. Well, oh, hey, wait a minute. There was right here. There's acid laser preset. It says laser in it, so let's do it. Not exactly laser. It sounds like acid. That is really sharp and aggressive. I'm not against it. I'm just playing around with the macros. Yeah, why not? It's aggressive, like the kick is distorted and aggressive. It's not exactly lasery. It's kind of techie, acidy kind of thing. I'm not sure. But, you know, I'll throw it in there like just... Could even be almost like a brighter bass element, right? Oops. It's so noisy, it's almost like another snare. Just thinking about that. I'm thinking of it like another percussive element. I mean, maybe. It's easy. I'm okay with that. Yeah, if I can capture that movement, and I believe I can, let's do that. We have the Y and the X here. Oh, wait. It's going opposite. I didn't notice that before. Why is the polarity is reversed between Lives XY and Massive X? When I go, all right, let's get this right here. I want X should be, yeah, that's really annoying. How can we fix that? Yeah, no, I think there's no way to do the polarity here, right? No. I'm going to have to... it's ridiculous. All right, I don't care. I'll just learn it backwards. But come on, really? All right, so I want... something like that. Let's just record it. Let's just get it in there. Okay. There it is for now. Except that it's like a little too sharp on the resonance. So, but I can fix that, right? Like when it's over here, I can bring the resonance down. A little better. Now I feel like it's a little bit too noisy and bright. I can fix that in the edit part, right? And actually, let's do a little... What happens if I play it longer? No, nothing. hear that. I was trying to like do a little melody with it, but it's covered up by the snare. Something like that. So there's a bit of a melody. There you go. All right, let me fix the noisiness of this thing. A lot of distortion. A little better. See what the filter's doing. A lot of resonance. I feel like I want to put another filter after it, or maybe we just EQ it. Also, a little drier, a little less reverb. Or darker. All right, I like that. It's funky, but also dirty and aggressive. It is dark. I think we got what Josh Holiday is talking about. Jaja's feeling it. That's good. I like that. And he suggests an arpeggio. John Paul Baldi was talking about the hi-hat earlier. Yeah, I feel like the hi-hat still needs some kind of work, but you know, we will get there. Delay on Camel's piece suggesting more delay on that plucky, acidy sound. Let's see. Could add delay here, right? What am I missing? Why? There's a... All right. Isn't it possible to... Oh, there it is. Okay. I see what's going on. I've forgotten. It's been so long. I've forgotten how this works. Okay, cross. That's better. Maybe. All right, it's a little busy. Maybe we'll see. Maybe it just needs to be less. All right, maybe, yeah, delay could be cool. Although I might want to add it on later with something I can control more easily separately. All right. Jaja is suggesting a dark melody, high synth string. You have is that what you have in your head? I mean, for sure, like string sounds, pads, melodic sounds, Massive's going to have plenty of those. This doesn't need to be in a group. Let's find a sound. Let's go to browse. Let's go to, all right, not a plucked string, right? More like a bowed string. No, not realistic. I mean, that works on anything, right? That's so like just generic bright synth string sound. Let's see what happens when we morph it. Ooh, it sounds vocody. It sounds vintage. I mean, that that's going to work, right? Can kind of do something old school with it, maybe. How does it animate? Let's see what happens. Ah! See, for sure, I don't know. This is fun with the animator, but either we got to be able to make our own animations because they're always moving the same way, or we're just not going to use them and we're going to use our DAW automation or modulation, or just go into the performer. If I wanted to do something rhythmic with this, which is kind of what I was wondering how that would work, I'm probably going to do that here, even though it's complicated. But to do something, see, are there presets for this? No, not. I want. Yeah, do you always have to like draw in? Is there no way to generate? There's no way to like, I don't know. See, that there should be like presets for these performers, right? And if there are, someone tell me where they are, because I'm like, I'm completely lost here. Oh, I forgot I have a keyboard down here. Yeah, I think it works. This sound works better not doing something fast and wobbly. It works better like doing something like that. I mean, maybe like a slow one that's not synced. You know what else would be good control native instruments to reduce how much it's morphing around? Like, I mean, I know you're supposed to like, all right, I say that, and you're supposed to like go here, let's turn the animator off, and like, oh, I just messed it up. Go back. So like if I don't want that to be as extreme, I have to change it. Whatever it is. Yeah, you can set it. But it'd be nice if there was a way to just scale the animator so it isn't always going to the edge. That would be nice. All right, something like that. How are we doing? It's already 2:45. I'm over an hour now. Could do maybe one more element before we call it a day today, and maybe I don't know. I knew it. I wasn't going to get to the Visco. I just knew it. That's going to have to be. I'm just going to have to buckle down and do a whole hour only on the Visco and like start a new track with it, because right now I just seem to like keep forgetting about it. There's also the SH101 going on here. Let's do that. Let's see, just to round out the hour, we've been doing all Massive X update, all presets and XY morphing, just to see what it sounds like and whether it's working. And it seems to be working. I like it. There's some things I would improve, right, if we're up to me. But, anyway, maybe we'll play around with the 101 and do some kind of sequence pattern, arpeggiated, sequenced melody on top. And also, yes, that's right. Jaja's pointing out you can do all of that with Massive X in Ableton and use the automation from Ableton instead of Massive, right? You don't need the XY pad in Massive to do all of this stuff. You could do it yourself. But then here you don't have to map all of the macros yourself, right? But anyway, all right, let's see if I can get something happening here. Right. If I can even, I'll be honest, I barely ever use the real Roland 101 plugin. I usually use like one of the clones, like the Softtube one. So do I even remember how to do this? To get the sequence going. There's the arpeggiator going. Is there, let's just, instead of worrying about it, let's just do it here. We'll just do it the modern way. I'm just thinking too hard right now about what notes the notes are supposed to be. Usually I just like put in a bunch of stuff randomly, but also the sound is wrong. Let's just tweak the sound a little bit. We want it to be plucky and let's solo that. All right, it's something. It's a start. I forgot it, the echo, space echo's on there. So. That's better. A little pause in it. Doesn't have to be constant 16th notes all the time. It's got its own little built-in delay. Let's do a little pulse with modulation. A little F filter modulation. That sounds good. Little bit of that whipping up and down SH101. It's very distinctive portamento on the SH-101, right? How does that sound now? It's a little busy with this one, isn't it? All right. Now let's play with the Space Echo. I'm so used to having stereo delays that being stuck with a mono one is like, what? Why doesn't it? All right, but yo, because we're in a DAW, we can have two of them and they can be left and right. Now we got stereo Space Echo. I love it. It's a little busy, right? That's going to take me too long to like make this delay do what I want. It's so much faster and easier to do it with like a modern plugin, right? This one is, but it's got that vibe, right? Like it's got that vintage vibe. Yes, Jaja 9000 is asking if the Space Echo is on Roland Cloud. Yeah, I'm paying too much for the Roland Cloud subscription. It's a tax write-off. I like it when it's squiggly. It's taking it away. It's getting more funky and wormy now, rather than more machine and tight and industrial. What does it sound like an octave higher? I'm gonna get rid of the squiggliness of it with the portamento. I think I like that better. Yeah, more spacey, more cosmic. Yeah, I want this to be less repetitive. So it has some progression. That'll be fun to play with. I think it's funny that Roland put a bit crusher inside of the SH-101. Is that something people do a lot? It sounds cool. Makes it sort of not a 101 anymore somehow. Interesting. I'm going to do a version of this pattern that's even... I made the one that's got more change in it. Now I'm going to make it less. Yeah, just working. It's overcomplicating things, doing 2 space echoes left and right in a rack like that. Let's just put in a... Just for now, I want to see if I can do something with Live's echo. It'll be easier. Yeah. A little bit of Haas effect on that. Maybe a little bit of modulation. A little bit of resonance. Too much bit crushing. It's too much distortion everywhere. I want something, you know, the kick, that big 808 kick has the distortion, and there's that zappy, lasery thing that has all that distortion. I feel like putting bit reduction on this just is too much. So, yeah, fits in there better. It's not overwhelming. It's not this like haze of noise now. Maybe a little too much modulation on that filter. Go back to the other, the longer version. Okay, then we have all right, I think that's good. That's good elements for a track now. I mean, it needs more. I think it's time to wrap up today. This was fun. It's nice to try a new plugin or update on a plugin to do something new and different, or just to even be an excuse to make a track. I think for me, that's also what it is you know, hanging out with you guys, being productive with the music, talking and hanging out, as it always is. And yeah, nice to have you here, everybody. Thank you for hanging out. I know it's a little later than usual. It's 3 p.m. almost here in New York, and you know, you guys are probably getting ready to go out and have dinner or something at this point in Europe. And those of you in the USA, hey, we're closer on the same time zone. Hopefully that's all good for you. I'm starting to space out. I need to eat lunch. My caffeine crash is going on right now. Anyway, thanks very much again. There was actually one more little thing I wanted to say, or just to go through, as we were talking earlier about the whole Auto Freak Remix Challenge thing. These are the comments that we've gotten so far from the promo, and there's some nice ones in here. There's some of you guys that are on here. I mean, okay, Luke Slater said thanks. All right, I love it when big DJs say, like, you know, they don't give you feedback. I mean, I'm not knocking Luke Slater. He's one of my favorites. He's great, but like, say thanks for saying thanks. But do you like any of it? All right, but he gave 4 stars for Marco Freudenberg's remix. That's awesome. Enrico Sanguiano is into the remix. That's cool. And there's saying thanks. Ken Ishii, another old favorite of mine, definitely. He likes the Oscar Ciudad remix. And let's see, a bunch of people, like on the Electro side, Kenny Tolan's remix is good for them. We got a lot of good reactions for that. Our good friend here in New York, Agent Orange, likes the Oscar Ciudad remix. Marco Carolla's down with the Marco Freudenberg remix. I'm proud of this one. Dave Clark is loving the Kenny Tolan remix. That's definitely, I know, I was hoping it would be up his alley, right? That kind of dark, heavy electro stuff. Anyway, it's really great to see that you guys made some cool mixes, and we're getting them out there. and people are hearing it and hopefully playing it, right? So anyway, thanks again, everybody, for hanging out on this a little bit longer winded and later Techno Saturdays. And yeah, why is it doing that? I'm definitely losing it. Yeah. All right. Let me let me just. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons on my OBS. So anyway, thanks again. Have a good weekend. I'll see you next time. Adios.